Hello, you're tuning in the English News Bulletin on QPVN channel. I'm Nguyễn, and now let me keep you up to date with the headlines. President Lula meets with national contributors. The 6th Vietnam-Philippines Defense Policy Dialogue held. A bridge of friendship connecting Vietnam and the world. On the occasion of the 77th anniversary of War Invalids and Martyrs' Day, July 27th, on July 22nd at the Presidential Palace, President Lula met with a delegation of national contributors, including nearly 80 Vietnamese heroic mothers, heroes of the People's Armed Forces, labor heroes, wounded soldiers, relatives of martyrs' families. At the beginning of the meeting, President Lula and the delegates spent a minute commemorating General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng. Over the past 77 years, Vietnamese party, state, and people have always paid attention to paying gratitude to those who contributed to the revolution and their relatives. Today, the whole country has identified 9.2 million national contributors. President Lula commemorates the heroes, martyrs, and soldiers who sacrificed for the fatherland, while sending sincere regards and gratitude to the Vietnamese heroic mothers, wounded and sick soldiers, and relatives of martyrs' families. The president requested all levels of party committees, authorities, the Fatherland Front, and unions to ensure that people with meritorious services and relatives of martyrs always fully enjoy the fruits of the country's renewal, while taking care of lonely and helpless people. The president urged on improving the quality of traditional education, revolutionary ideals, the ethics of when drinking water remembers souls, promoting the spirit of patriotism, self-reliance, glorious history that generations of ancestors have shed blood and sacrificed for the national independence and territorial integrity. The 6th Vietnam-Philippines Defense Policy Dialogue was held on the afternoon of July 22nd in Manila. Senior Lieutenant General Hoàng Xuân Chiến, Deputy Defense Minister, and Lieutenant General Irineo Cruz Espino, Undersecretary of National Defense of the Philippines, co-chaired the event. On behalf of the Philippines Department of Defense, Lieutenant General Espino began the dialogue by conveying the condolences to the Party Central Committee, National Assembly, President, Prime Minister, Fatherland Front, and people of Vietnam on the passing of General Secretary of the Communist Party of Vietnam, Nguyễn Phú Trọng. In response, Senior Lieutenant General Hoàng Xuân Chiến said thanks to the Philippines Department of Defense in general and the Undersecretary himself. During the dialogue, the two chairmen were briefed on the result of the 7th session of the Defense Cooperation Working Group. The two sides appreciated the achievements of defense cooperation since the 5th dialogue in 2023 across such various fields as delegation exchanges at all levels, consultation and dialogue maintenance, training, support for each other at multilateral forums and mechanisms led by ASEAN. The two sides affirmed that in the coming time, bilateral defense cooperation would be further enhanced towards practicality and effectiveness, with focus on all-level delegation exchanges, especially high-level ones, more effective consultations and dialogues, including the defense policy dialogue, information exchanges, and training. Concluding the event, the two chairmen inked the minute of the 6th Vietnam-Philippines Defense Policy Dialogue. Coming up next, Laos declares national mourning for Vietnam's party leader. A bridge of friendship connecting Vietnam and the world. Laos is scheduled to observe a national mourning for General Secretary of the Communist Party of Vietnam Central Committee Nguyễn Phú Trọng on July the 25th and the 26th, announced Minister and Head of the Lao Prime Minister's Office at a press conference in Vientiane on July 22nd. The announcement states that the party General Secretary made significant contribution to the unceasing development of the great friendship, special solidarity, and comprehensive cooperation between the parties, states, and peoples of the two countries. His passing is a loss of a close and trusted friend to the party, state, and people of Laos. Therefore, the Lao Party and government decided to observe the national mourning in Laos and at the country's embassies and diplomatic missions abroad on July 25th and 26th by flying flags at half-mast and suspending all forms of entertainment activities. A Lao mission led by General Secretary of the Lao People's Revolutionary Party and President of Laos Thongloun Sisoulith will attend the funeral for late Party General Secretary Nguyen Phu Trọng in Hanoi. On July 22nd, the Department of Military Training under the General Staff of the Vietnam People's Army inspected the preparations for the national funeral of General Secretary Nguyen Phu Trọng at the National Funeral House and Maizic Cemetery. A large number of people are estimated to attend funerals at the venues, so ensuring security and safety is given special attention by the Ministry of National Defense and functional agencies. The Ministry of National Defense has assigned tasks to units, proactively deployed protection plans, and coordinated with local authorities to ensure security and order in the area, as well as organize instructions and welcome guests. The funeral for General Secretary Nguyen Phu Trọng is to be held at the National Funeral House, No. 5 Trần Thánh Tông, Hanoi City, from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. on July 25th, 2024, and from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. on July 26th, 2024. The memorial service will be held at 1 p.m. on July 26, 2024 at the National Funeral Home. The burial ceremony is planned at 3 p.m. the same day at Maizic Cemetery in Hanoi. In recent years, achievements in the party's foreign affairs of Vietnam have been resulted from the joint efforts of the whole people and military, of which the most important factor with decisive significance is the direct and comprehensive leadership of the Communist Party of Vietnam, headed by General Secretary Nguyen Phu Trọng. Notably, Party General Secretary Nguyen Phu Trọng imprint in the party's foreign affairs played an important role helping Vietnam make long and solid strides, while affirming the country's determination to maintain independence and national sovereignty, thus contributing to building a peaceful, sustainable, and fair world.
Since 1919, President Ho Chi Minh, at that time known as Nguyễn Ái Quốc, joined the French Socialist Party, as this was the only organization in France that stood up to defend Vietnam. This event marked the first important activity of the party diplomacy in the Ho Chi Minh era. In each period and historical stage of the Vietnamese Revolution, the party diplomacy always has a special position and role, making marked contributions to the building and protection of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam.
Đối ngoại của Đảng.
We not only have relations with communist parties, workers' parties, left-wing parties, and progressive movements around the world, but we've also had breakthroughs in relations with ruling parties, opposition parties, and major parties of countries that are our strategic partners and of powers in the world. That creates a breakthrough in our foreign relations, helping expand our external relations and creates opportunities for the country to thrive. The 13th National Party Congress highlights the pivotal role of foreign affairs in fostering and maintaining a peaceful and stable environment, as well as in mobilizing external resources for the lifting of the country's reputation and position. External relations of the party were identified as one of the three important pillars in the country's foreign relations front. Inheriting the national tradition and Ho Chi Minh's thought on foreign affairs, at the National Foreign Relations Conference, December 14, 2021, Party General Secretary Nguyen Phu Trọng introduced Vietnamese Bamboo's diplomacy. It is a summary and visualization of the foreign policy that the Communist Party of Vietnam has been implementing with significant contributions to development achievements of the country. In July 2015, Party General Secretary Nguyen Phu Trọng was the first Vietnamese party leader to visit the U.S., meeting President Barack Obama at the White House. In March 2018, General Secretary Nguyen Phu Trọng paid a state visit to Cuba. This is also the first visit of the General Secretary of the Communist Party of Vietnam to Latin America after the 12th National Party Congress. At the end of 2022, Party General Secretary Nguyen Phu Trọng is the first foreign leader that the Central Committee of the Communist Party of China and General Secretary and President of China Xi Jinping welcomed right after the 20th Congress of the Communist Party of China. During his working term, Party General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng made 2 official visits to Russia at the invitation of Russian President Vladimir Putin in November 2014 and September 2018. In the context of complicated international situation, under the leadership of Party General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng, Vietnam has built and maintained good relations with countries around the world, contributing to creating national peace and stability. Regardless of poor or rich countries or differences in political institutions, Vietnam has built and maintained diplomatic relationships with more than 193 countries and territories around the world, contributing to global peace, prosperity, and stability. Behind the achievements is the great service by General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng, a leader with heart and vision who always devoted to promoting understanding and friendship between countries and peoples. The Vietnamese bamboo diplomacy has existed in the history of Vietnamese diplomacy for thousands of years, but it was General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng who named it and raised it to a theoretical level, recognized by the world, helping create the position of Vietnam today. During his lifetime, General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng was always determined to build and develop a school of diplomacy imbued with the identity of Vietnamese bamboo, conveying a strong message about Vietnam with an independent foreign policy, autonomy, peace, friendship, cooperation and development, multilateralization and diversification of foreign relations. General Secretary Trọng has made great contributions in affirming the party's important role in foreign policy while establishing a solid foundation for Vietnam to reach out to the world. Vietnam's foreign policy has become a reference for other countries about harmony and cooperative relations with other countries and peoples. Currently, Vietnam has established diplomatic relations with most countries in the world and has excellent bilateral cooperation and relations with many countries in the world on all continents. We can say that even in a multilateral world environment like the UN, Vietnam has a very prestigious reputation and voice, highly appreciated by the international community. With a profound political vision and strategic thinking, General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng, the person steering the Vietnamese revolutionary boat, summarized and formed the art of bamboo diplomacy, creating historical turning points. Never before has Vietnam's position, prestige, and image has been prominent as in the international arena as it is today, and never has Vietnam integrated so deeply and made such positive contributions to the development of human civilization as it is today. The spirit and theoretical thinking of General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng was a valuable legacy that he left for the entire party, people, as well as peace-loving people in the world, and is a guideline for the work of building a world of peace and friendship.
Speeches on bamboo of Vietnam diplomacy, which he laid out in December last year at the National Diplomatic Conference, and before that a series of speeches, I think, lay out a very, very good, very balanced and a very futuristic approach to international relations. Especially in a very complex global context, I think all the countries need to conduct the foreign policy, and I think the way he has explained, elaborated and guided the vision of international relations has been extremely noticeable and very respectable for us to see as a foreign diplomat.
Bamboo diplomacy is a very excellent approach toward the world that says we are enough confident in ourselves, we are very firm in roots, but we are flexible and we are very cooperative. The Vietnam be recognized as a friend of all and welcomed and recognized by the international community as a responsible member.
One of the outstanding achievements of General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng is on diplomatic matters. The diplomatic book is imbued with the identity of Vietnamese bamboo, making us feel proud and confident.
then we remember Ho Chi Minh's diplomacy policy of firm in principle, flexible in strategy and tactics. So now Vietnam has become an entity that can be said to have position and prestige in the international arena. And the two words Vietnam always resonates far and wide.
And that's all for now. Remember, you can always watch the news again at QPVN.vn. Now, thank you for watching and hope to see you next time.